Hi guys, today I finished reading High Rise by J.G. Ballard, and just wow. This book takes place entirely within the confines of a 40-story high rise, and it's pretty sweet high rise. So one of the concourses has its own swimming pool, bank, theater, school, beauty salon. Yeah. And there's another concourse that has another swimming pool, a restaurant, a gym. I remember what's on the other concourse. But there's also a rooftop playground for the kids. It's a sculpture garden for them to play on, and like squash courts on the roof. So pretty much anything you can need is within this high rise. Society within the high rise naturally breaks up into kind of three sections. There's the lower section below the first concourse, which is where most of the lower income families live, although they're still rich enough to live in a high rise. But they are the ones who mostly have children, and yeah. And then there's the high section above the higher concourse, which includes the ones who own like penthouse apartments. And these people this tends to be where most of the dogs live. So, yeah, and the owners of the dogs don't necessarily look after them as they should, and the dogs kind of have free reign. And the children don't always behave as well as they should either. And then there's kind of this buffer zone in between the two concourses of what I would call semi-sane people. Semi-sane. Because everybody is living in such close quarters, it doesn't take a whole lot for people to start to get annoyed with the other residents. Like, you see the same people day after day doing the same things that are just annoying. And then you see them, like, when you're shopping and everywhere. Some of the people work in the high rise and work with the people who live in the high rise. So just the same people everywhere you go. So it only takes a few incidents, like a couple of fights, to kind of just trigger more fighting within this building. So this book actually kind of needs some trigger warnings. This book contains rape, murder, child neglect, animal abuse, incest, and cannibalism, and probably more things that I don't remember, but those are the ones that struck me as like, oh shit. It's a pretty gruesome book and gory. A lot of blood. Yeah. This book made me want to throw up a couple of times. Good times, good times. But I really enjoy this kind of psychological exploration of what happens when society breaks down and when people start throwing out cultural norms. And yeah, so it's definitely a dystopian book. It reminds me of sci-fi, even though it's not really typical sci-fi material. So the fighting within this book, it kind of quickly escalates. They start forming clans and war tribes and teaming up with each other, and everybody's goal is basically to take the higher apartments and to defend their own locations until it finally gets to a point where all anybody cares about is sex, security, and food. Food, sex, and security are all anybody cares about. Honestly, I really did enjoy this book. It was definitely intriguing and compelling and interesting. So it's amazingly well written, and the prose, like, the writing does a really good job of helping you get inside the characters' heads, and the slope just kind of creeps up on you as they start descending into chaos, and getting to feel the people like reveling in just being able to do whatever they want, and the freedom that offers them. So I really liked the psychological exploration that goes on in this book. It is kind of a worrying book, though, as any good dystopian is, about, like, what would I do in this situation? I would love to think that I would get the hell out of there, except none of the residents seem to leave. The rest of society is going on normally, and none of them leave the building. Pretty sure all it would take for me to go crazy is for somebody to attack my cat. And then I'd have to beat them up. And then something else would happen, I'm sure, and I would just descend into the chaos with everybody else. Yeah, So there's my book review for High Rise by J.G. Ballard. I gave it a 4 stars on Goodreads, despite the fact that it made me want to puke. That's the mark of a good book, right? So, I love you guys. Peace out and keep reading. Bye.